You are not weak for helping too much. You may just be living without boundaries. In an old village, there was a bakery, so ancient it seemed to have a memory of its own. Wooden doors, a floor of scorched bricks, and a big red clay oven that breathed like a gentle animal. The door creaked like someone telling secrets, and there was a man named Thomas, known for a dangerous gift. He said yes before he even understood the request. Thomas was the owner of the bakery. They say there's a kind of person who doesn't ask permission to enter. They just walk in. And once everyone learns where the entrance is, nobody asks whether, on the other side, there's someone still willing to welcome them. In that village, whenever anyone needed something, they didn't think twice. They went straight to Thomas's bakery. Out of bread, Thomas will figure it out. Problems, Thomas understands. No company, Thomas listens. And he truly did listen. Flour on his fingers, exhaustion hidden behind a smile. The village called it kindness. Thomas called it fate. But while he patched up other people's days, his own day was coming undone from the inside. The crack in the display glass spread, the storage door came loose. The oven started making a strange noise, soft warning, like someone asking for help without wanting to bother anyone. There's an invisible clock inside every yes. Each time you say, sure, it charges minutes from your rest, and calls it politeness. Thomas's sister lived with him, and she saw what the village didn't. She didn't yell, didn't argue. She only asked, as if lighting a candle, "Thomas, and who is it that helps you?" Thomas answered with a sentence that sounded like a prayer and an excuse at the same time. One day the village will remember, but the village remembered the bread. It didn't remember the baker. One afternoon, the sky turned the color of lead. The wind rushed through the stone streets as if it were late for something. Thomas could have run to save what was his. The flour sacks in the storage room, his father's old recipe notebook, the corner where the wall used to cry water when the rain came down hard. But someone shouted from across the street. It was Arta, the grocer, with crates out in the open and a frightened voice. "Thomas, come here, quickly!" And Thomas went like always. He helped cover things, pull things in, stack things up. He did what he did best, keeping other people's worlds from collapsing. When he came back, the rain had already gotten in through the storage door that didn't close properly. The flour turned to mud. The pages of the notebook stained, as if the recipes themselves were crying. And the oven, tired of warning him in silence, finally went out for good. Thomas sat behind the counter. The bakery, which used to smell like morning, now smelled like loss. His sister set a warm mug in front of him and said only this: "Today you saved what belonged to everyone except your own." There's a difference between being good and being available. The good choose. The available disappear. The next day, Thomas walked across the village to Mr. Alvaro's house, a retired baker who lived near a small yard and a clay oven that no longer lit. Alvaro listened as Thomas spoke about a tiredness that wasn't in the body but in the soul. And he answered with a fable inside the fable. "Have you ever seen rushed dough?" he asked. "It tears, and dough without rest, it hardens." Alvaro looked at Thomas's hands, hands that gave too much. Kindness without limits doesn't turn into love. It turns into rupture. Thomas lowered his eyes as if facing an old truth. Then The old man taught him a rule that wasn't written in any book. For 7 days, don't answer right away. When someone asks you for something, ask yourself 3 questions in silence. Is this urgent or just convenient? Can I help without breaking myself? If I say yes, what part of me gets postponed? And if the answer hurt, Tomas should say a simple sentence without a long justification. Not today, Alvaro added. A river with no banks becomes a flood, and a flood isn't generous, it's destructive. A lot of people don't get used to your no, because your yes became their comfort. That same day, Arthur showed up as if nothing had happened. Thomas, I need bread on credit, and help me unload some sacks. Thomas looked at the cracked display glass, at the oven that had just stopped, at the storage room still damp. He felt guilt rise fast, as if it were trying to stop a boundary from being born, but he breathed. Not today. Today I need to fix my bakery. I can serve you, but credit is no longer possible. Arthur blinked, as if Thomas had spoken another language. You're not going to help? Thomas didn't argue. He didn't over-explain. He didn't apologize for existing. He simply held his ground. Arthur left with the face of someone who'd lost a tool, and that hurt. Because Thomas realized, to some people, he wasn't a person. He was a function. In the days that followed, other requests arrived disguised as kindness. It's just for today. You're so good. It doesn't cost anything. And Thomas always answered with respect, but with boundaries, not today. Tomorrow, during business hours, I can guide you, but I can't do it for you. At first, there were complaints. Then there was silence. And then, slowly, there was adjustment. Arthur started planning ahead. Neighbors began keeping change. Urgent requests shrank once people realized urgency wasn't a password. And inside the bakery, a realistic miracle happened. Not an apology, not a grand redemption scene, but a change in behavior. The village learned the limit the way you learn a new rule of living together. Respect doesn't always arrive with flowers. Sometimes it arrives quietly, when people realize you won't bend anymore. One late afternoon, Mr. Alvaro walked into the bakery, bought a loaf of bread, and observed the clean counter, the shelves in order, the oven working. Tomas's face less heavy. He asked, "Did the world fall apart when you started saying no?" Tomas looked out at the street, at the village moving in its own rhythm, and answered, "No. It feels like everything is in its place." Alvaro nodded, like someone closing a book, and the fable left its moral without shouting. Saying no didn't make Thomas selfish. It made Thomas's whole. If you enjoyed stories that inspire like this one, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And tell me in the comments, do you know someone like Tomas, who does everything for everyone else and nothing for themselves?